Tonight was very much about saying farewell. Tonight very much felt like the final battle cries of a now bygone era. And I've not even started talking about Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly yet. Come gather round, people, wherever you roam. This is NXT TakeOver 36 Graded. So we kick off with the $1 Million Championship match. Cameron Grimes challenging LA Knight. If Knight wins, then Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, becomes LA Knight's butler. The story of this match was Grimes trying to apply the $1 Million Dream. Many furtive attempts were had whilst LA Knight put the pressure on the challenger throughout it. It was a very clean babyface heel match that kept all the action in the ring. Eventually, despite the fact that he was unable to throughout the night, Grimes was able to apply that $1 Million Dream very briefly. Knight able to get away, was going to use the $1 Million Championship as a weapon, but that was halted. Ted DiBiase gets involved and slaps the $1 Million Dream on LA Knight himself. Big pop from the crowd for that. He chucked him back into the ring where LA Knight eats a cave-in for the 1, 2, 3. And Cameron Grimes is your new $1 Million Champion. This was a B. It was simple. It was crisp. It was a really fun start to the evening. Cameron Grimes is over like Rover. Next, the NXT Women's Championship is on the line. Raquel Gonzalez, whose friendship has ended with Dakota Kai. They will sort it out now. Dakota Kai on her 323rd new look now, I think. They do change her look quite a bit. This was cool. She looks intimidating. She wrestled intimidating as well. Kai got more offense in than I genuinely thought she would against the bigger opponent like Raquel Gonzalez. But when Raquel was on, she was on. We saw at one point a scorpion kick from Kai turned into a one-arm powerbomb. She did an alley-up in which Kai bounced off the top rope into the outside of the ring. And it looked like Kai was getting back into the fight at one point when Gonzalez was sat on the top rope. She was going to go for a big old running kick. However, Gonzalez grabbed the leg like she did earlier in the match. This time, a one-armed powerbomb off the second rope for the 1, 2, 3. As Gonzalez stands tall over her former bestie, here comes Kaylee Ray, formerly of NXT UK. That basically sets up what we're doing next. Kaylee Ray is part of NXT from off of America. This is a B once again, another simple but very effective match between these two. Gonzalez was on the back foot a lot more than I thought she would be. Like, I thought that she'd dominate a lot more of this against a smaller opponent, but I thought that Kai was excellent here. I hope Dakota Kai goes on to do great things, presumably a main roster call-up sooner rather than later. And Kaylee Ray versus Gonzalez is our next rivalry. So I'm intrigued to see how that one goes. We move on to the NXT UK Championship match. It is Volta defending the title against Ilja Dragunov. Top marks to NXT, who have managed to tell this story for those who haven't been watching NXT UK beautifully. Dragunov has been part of the show for the last couple of weeks, as has Volta. There's been video packages that tell the story of their last very, very, very good match, possibly match of the year from last year on NXT UK. So they prepped the audience nicely, and I'm just delighted to see Dragunov and Volta doing this in front of a crowd. Made me very, very happy. They pick up the story pretty much where they left off, with a wiser Dragunov managing to keep Volta on the back foot for a lot of this. Volta gets some early ruthless aggression in with a powerbomb onto the apron, but still can't quite put Dragunov away. Both held nothing back with strikes as well. You look at Dragunov's chest about halfway through, it is already beet red with welts. Volta got blasted with 2 torpedo Moscows quite late into this one. Only got a 2 count though, did Dragunov, and you can tell it on his face. It's like, that was my best move. Like, you could see the screws start to come unloosened, and then he manages to loosened. I knew what I meant. So you can see the screws becoming loosened in the head of Dragunov. He manages to refocus just in time to avoid a splash off the top rope from Volta. They end up fighting in the corner once again, where Dragunov applies a sleeper. Volta tries to break it by dropping Dragunov off the top rope with him. But despite that, despite attempts from Volta to power out of it, he just can't let go of this sleeper. At one point, he does let go and instead just starts smashing the back of Volta, does Dragunov, with chops and kicks and strikes, and then reapplies the sleeper, talks it all the way back, and Volta taps out. Dragunov stands over Volta as the new NXT UK champion. This is an A+. Best match of the night. Spoiler for what's coming, by the way. This was an A+. I was so happy that these guys were able to continue that amazing momentum they had from their match on NXT UK and do it bigger and better in front of this crowd. Love the work they did here. Gutted to see Volta lose the NXT UK Championship. I think that belt fits him. I hope whatever he goes on to do next is something that is creatively fulfilling for him in the company. Dragunov as the Tsar of NXT UK, I think is a good fit as well. We move on to one of the feature matches of the night. 2 out of 3 falls. 3 stages of hell, if you're a fan of a certain vintage. It is Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly, the Undisputed finale. The first fall, a straight singles fall, is won pretty quickly by Kyle O'Reilly, where Adam Cole goes for a Panama Sunrise. So sunset is in reverse, presumably. It goes for a Panama Sunrise. Kyle just sits down and hunkers down and gets a pin from that. A bit of a shock to everybody because it came very quickly on. We have the street fight next, and nothing says street fight quite like Kyle O'Reilly doing a running drop kick off the apron into Adam Cole with a bin on his head. We start strong. They kick it into another level here where we see Kyle getting thrown off the top rope, kicked off the top rope by Adam Cole, and he hits his ribs badly. And then the story of the match becomes the ribs of Kyle O'Reilly. Adam Cole just finds ways to wail on his ribs, even like bouncing off the ropes is affecting Kyle O'Reilly at this point. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly both go for chains outside the ring. They wrap them around their arms and just start pummeling each other with chains all wrapped around their wrists. Cole eventually wins the second fall when he overcomes Kyle O'Reilly, and he drops Kyle O'Reilly spine first onto 2 steel chairs facing up like that. It didn't look very nice. Quick last shot after that, buff, and Adam Cole wins the second fall. It's now time for the cage match, and I like the cage aesthetic because the cage kind of comes down like this as opposed to coming down like this. It kind of like swoops in and then they tie it. I like that a lot. Just wanted to give some love to the cage aesthetic on this. Before the cages come all the way down, though, Adam Cole has powerbombed Kyle O'Reilly onto the announce table. Medics are checking on Kyle, but Adam Cole shoos them away, gets Kyle O'Reilly in the ring. This match is happening, even though Kyle O'Reilly is clearly very badly banged up. The cage portion of the match doesn't go that long either, really. We see Adam Cole handcuffing Kyle O'Reilly to the cage, screaming in his face, but Kyle O'Reilly, with one arm handcuffed to the cage, manages to apply a leg lock to Adam Cole, and very quickly, Adam Cole taps out. And the crowd do not like this. Boos and chants of bull poo rain down in the CWC for the very sudden end to this match. And I kind of get it. Like, this kind of felt a bit out of the blue, the finish. Like, I feel like they had another 10 minutes in them at the very least. I'm giving this a B+. I thought there was lots of stuff in here that was really good. I think there was like these two are just so fluid together. The expectation for this was very, very high because I think because this is like the third of their series, and the first one was excellent. The second one fell back a bit, so we thought with this dip, this was going to tip it over the top. It didn't really. It didn't. It's still the second best match of their series, and still the second best match of the night so far. But I think we all had real ideas of grandeur for this one that, whilst it was still really good, it didn't quite live up to. I don't know whether Adam Cole's current situation played into that. Like, we don't want to give them too big a match to go out on. Maybe. So this is what we'll do instead. It's hard to tell. Look, and I feel like I'm being harsh. I give it a B+. I think it was still a really, really good match. But I don't think it was the epic that I think we were hoping for. We move on to our final match of the evening. It's the NXT Championship. Karrion Kross takes on Samoa Joe. Joe starting strong in this one. Joe's looking good off from the off, but some Doomsday Saito started to shut him down a bit here. Joe starts to come back. He puts the clutch on at one point. Kross turns it into a cross jacket. Joe is able to break that. He fires back. The finish of the match comes Again, sort of out of nowhere, they're fighting in the corner. We see a big running kick from Samoa Joe, and he pulls out the Muscle Buster. We haven't seen that in a long time. Muscle Buster on Karrion Kross for the 1, 2, 3, and Samoa Joe is your new NXT champion. That's how we end the night after Karrion Kross is sort of like this title reign. Samoa Joe, 3-time NXT champ. I'm giving this a B+. There were some really good moments in this. I think Samoa Joe on the whole looked good. Like cardio looked good. He did a beauty of a dive during this match as well. Like he hasn't really lost any pace. I was concerned about how these two would gel. I don't think they put on a match that had that epic feel of an NXT main event. I know Jack in What Happened At talked about how this show he feels felt epic without overdoing the epicness, and I kind of dispute that a little bit because I feel like this could have done with a little bit more epic to it. Joe looks strong in there, but here's the thing, Samoa Joe is now very much a square peg in a round hole. We're making these big changes to NXT where it's going to be all about the younger talent, and Samoa Joe's the champion. I mean, I love Samoa Joe. I think he's amazing. But I don't know how much he's going to fit what NXT is going to become. I guess we'll find out. It was a very good main event. It wasn't the best NXT main event I've ever seen. It was very good. Overall, I'm giving this show the same as SummerSlam, actually. I'm giving it a B+. A very clean, very straightforward show on the whole. It was simple in its approach, but I feel like a couple of the matches promised more than they delivered, especially those final two. Like Joe and Kross felt like a match where they were going to tear the place apart. We didn't really see that. Kyle and Cole, I thought were going to absolutely blow the roof off, and they didn't do that. But I think because the expectation was so high, that's why I'm a bit like, oh, okay, fine. Best match of the night was the UK Championship match, Dragunov and Volta. Expectation for that was good, and I think they delivered. I feel like nothing else quite landed as good, despite the fact that it was still a very good show, and possibly the last one of this current era as we move on to an exciting NXT, kind of back what it was before. The times are very much changing. We will see how this all unfolds, but this may go down as sort of the final NXT takeover of an era. Of an undisputed era. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.